I'm Donna from Mason Creations ETC. I'm so happy you're here with me today. This is Christmas ornament number 2 in my 6-part do-it-yourself easy Christmas ornament ideas from those little wooden blanks you find at the craft stores. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of them. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is put a light coat of the metal flake adhesive on my ornament and let it dry for about an hour. The next thing I'm going to do is apply the metal flakes to the ornament on top of the adhesive. The adhesive is a little bit sticky, so they apply very easily. This adorable do-it-yourself Christmas ornament is easy to make. It combines decoupage, gilding flakes, and air-dry clay for a unique do-it-yourself Christmas ornament. I'm using a soft brush to apply the flakes, but after I put them all on, I'm using a brush that's a little bit stiffer to knock off some of the extra little edges that are sticking up. Now that all my flakes are applied, I'm going to add the metal leaf sealer. I applied a very thick coat of just a plain clear gloss varnish off camera, and now I'm going to apply a very thick coat of the crackle varnish. The thicker that these two coats are, the nicer your cracks are going to wind up. If you put the coats on thin, then your cracks will be very tiny and very thin. If you put it on thicker, you'll have nice large cracks. I let my first coat of clear varnish dry for a couple of hours before I put on the crackle, and now I'm going to let this dry for several hours or overnight before I go to the next step. The crackle varnish is now dry, and there are a lot of nice cracks all over the backside of this ornament. So I'm adding some rub that will enhance all of those cracks, and it will actually add some nice richness to the color of this. I'm using iced espresso and Gold Rush. I'm applying the rub with my finger, but then I'm going to use a soft cloth and buff it afterwards. I'm now going to glue the music note paper to the front of the ornament. I'm using Mod Podge, giving it a good coat all the way around. Then I'll lay this on the music note paper and cut off some of the excess, leaving a little bit around the edges. Now I'm taking a sanding sponge and I'm just going around the edges, and it will take off the excess paper and leave a nice clean line all the way around the edge. I purchased some clip art on Etsy of some winter birds, and it had these cute little robins in there, so I am using those. I actually printed and cut them out on my Cricut machine. If you don't have a Cricut machine, you can just print them and cut them out by hand. I'm adding a really tiny little ball of clay underneath each little bird, which is what's going to make them look nice and plump and 3D. I'm using Mod Podge to glue the little birds to the ornament. I'm using my paintbrush as kind of a rolling pin just to flatten out the clay that's under the bird just a little bit. It was kind of a little bit too plump. Now that I have the little birds all attached, I'm going to add Mod Podge over the entire top of the whole front of the ornament. The birds kind of blended in with the music note paper just a little too much, so I'm going to paint just a really fine dark brown line around both of the birds to make them stand out just a little bit. I painted the front of this ornament with some gloss varnish and let it dry for a couple of hours. Now I'm putting the crackle varnish on top of that, and I'll let that dry for several hours, possibly overnight. Everything is dry, and now I'm going to add a little bit of gold rub to the front of this to accent the little cracks that are in it. Now I'm going to add some triple thick glaze to both sides of this ornament and make it really shiny. Now it is time to add all the final embellishments and make this little ornament look absolutely beautiful. I'm starting off by putting a gold trim around the entire edge of this ornament. Now I'm going to be tacking down all of these little edges that are standing out. The greenery that I chose for this was just a little bit too large for this small of an ornament, so I am separating it and then I'll put it back together a little bit smaller. I'm going to add a dark green velvet ribbon to the top of this. If you're enjoying this video, be sure and give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know what you think of this ornament, if you made it, and how yours turned out. And now I'm going to add a piece of holly right in the center of that dark green bow. I'm also going to add a little piece of holly right in the center back of this ornament. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. You won't want to miss any of the videos in this series.